Welcome to Sober Soldiers Recovery family. Welcome to Sober Soldiers Live Recovery Meeting live at First Church, the Open Bible. This is Sober Soldiers Live Thursday night meeting. We believe that God and recovery must come first, and that recovery is not a one-size-fits-all. Tonight we are supposed to have Laura with 11 years and Stephanie with 1 year's opening the meeting, but apparently, Bubbles in the building with a haircut. So welcome. This is a live recovery meeting. We recover out loud. We are not anonymous. We like to recover out loud. This is a live meeting. Please feel free to share in the chat, share your recovery links, share your recovery times, share on the topic. Enjoy the meeting.
Good evening, Sober Soldiers Recovery family. My name is Stephanie. I'm in recovery, and I'm having a year as of Tuesday. Welcome to the Sober Soldiers Live Recovery Meeting. We are not affiliated with any 12-step program. The difference is we are not a program. We are a recovery family. We believe God and recovery come first, and recovery can be found in many various ways. We have a few announcements to cover before we get this meeting started. Friday night bonfire, Sober Soldiers home. Birthdays, volleyball, wedding, and bonfire.
Woo! We're having a wedding tomorrow night.
Whose wedding?
Stand up if you're getting married tomorrow night. Yeah. Come on now.
Bring something to share. We also on Saturday have a girls' tea party at 2 to 4. Thank you, TJ. Our meeting is shared on Facebook Live for those unable to attend in person. If you do not get the opportunity to share during the meeting, please feel free to jump on the group page and share on the live event or on the page. Everyone's recovery is valuable to this recovery family. Recovery is not a one-size-fits-all. Please speak into the microphone so the people online can hear you. If you choose not to share, please at least share your name and recovery time so we can get to know you. We here in the Sober Soldier community celebrate every day as a victory. Please keep your share to 3-minute maximum so everyone gets a chance to share. As you can see, we keep a chair in the center of the room for those out there still sick and suffering, and the family members suffering along with them, praying one day they find their chair. A moment of silence followed by the Lord's Prayer. Heaven's Father,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
I am Stephanie and I'm in recovery, and as of Tuesday, I was a year. I can tell you it hasn't been easy, but my topic tonight is change. I have changed in the last year. Actually, I've changed in the last 6 months. So, from a year ago, I was a totally different person. I couldn't put the bottle down. The bottle was my life. Like, I couldn't walk away with it. I couldn't, and I've tried to quit drinking. Tried, and I just couldn't leave. Well, a year ago, on my actual birthday, is when I put the bottle down. Just because to this day, I think it was God. Because he came to in my mind and told me, you need to stop. It was the Saturday before my birthday because I was out drinking. I was partying like I would normally do the weekend of my birthday, because that's what I did every year. And then because I was being stupid, I was fighting, I was doing whatever I do at the bar. So then I went home. Monday was my birthday and I had a drink for the last time because that voice came in my mind again and says, that's it, you're done. And I haven't touched a drink since. But it hasn't been easy. I struggled. I lived on my own, and I've never been sober on my own. So when I got sober, I struggled big time, because I lived at my own apartment, and that's where I drank most of the time. So trying to be living on my own and and trying to stay sober was rough. So then in November, I made the decision that it's time I need to go live in a sober living house. So then February of this year, I moved into a sober living house. And it was the best thing I've ever done because I've got stronger and I don't even think about drinking anymore. Like it doesn't even come to my mind. It doesn't even, like, I don't even, like in April, I got in a car accident. It didn't even faze me of going to drink. I just struggled and got through that. And now I own my own car again. So it's just, if you want it, you can do it. Because I'm proving of it a year. So all I can say is just keep plugging along, because God's got you. And with that, we pass.
Thanks, Derek.
Laura, I'm in recovery. As of Tuesday, I have 11 years.
Come on.
Wasn't my birthday on Tuesday, but my birthday was 2 days prior. I just like how close we are right there. Gosh, change. So, 11 years ago on this day is the day that I actually walked into treatment. I had 2 days of being stuck in my own house with nothing but my own thoughts for 2 days from when I stopped using until I went into treatment. And probably one of the most scariest times of my life, because I had gotten to the point where I was too tired to use anymore. But I just, I had all the thoughts in my head, and I was still very much out there thinking that I still had like shadow people watching me from the street, and that other people were going to be coming in the back door. I was a wreck, and so I walked into treatment 11 years ago, and I think at first I walked in there kind of just wanting a safe place to sleep and a few meals, and then it kind of started to stick once I finally started to come down and be in reality a little bit. I kind of started to like that, and then God gave me some extra motivation about 2 weeks in when I found out I was pregnant. And so my boys are very well aware that they saved my life, because there were times throughout my recovery when, especially in the beginning, because I didn't like any part of myself. I think the person I despised most in the whole entire world was me. And so when I couldn't do it for myself, they gave me that motivation. And my whole recovery has been about making changes, changing the people that I hung out with, the places that I went. I don't even know if change is the right word right now. Everything had to be different. And I had to learn how to actually live life. Like, I didn't know how to do any of that anymore. I didn't know how to get up in the morning and actually like what do people do when they wake up? Like, they're supposed to take a shower and get dressed, and like that stuff was foreign to me. I didn't know how to do that. The only thing I knew how to do was to use, because in order for me to function, I had to use something. I had to have some substance in my body. And so everything was just so different. And it was really scary, because then, I had to learn how to be a mom to twins while I was just trying to learn how to live at the same time. And I can tell you that, God was there the whole time. God brought people in my life to help me when I didn't think I could do it. Every single time throughout these 11 years when I would have these moments where I'd be like, I can't do this. It's a fleeting thought these days, because, God will come right through and, he'll either just tell me right then and there, or he'll send somebody that tells me something or shows me something, a reason as to why, yes, I can do it, because, God gives me everything I need to do it. My life is a roller coaster. It goes up and down and around and around, and I kind of just strap in for the ride these days. And, because that's what I have to do. I have to let God be in control, because when I try to take control of anything in my life and go my own way, the way I think things are going to go, then things usually get messed up, and I usually start to be miserable. And then I usually make the people around me pretty miserable, starting with my children. And I'm just blessed. I am so blessed that, God loved me enough to save me, loved me enough to show me that, I'm worthy of living a life and being loved and being able to love other people, and that, I didn't have to live in that darkness anymore. Even though that darkness was so comfortable and familiar, that's why I thought I needed to stay in, because that's all I knew. But God showed me that I could come out of that, and that there was so much more for me, and there's still so much more for me that I don't even know what it's going to be. But I'm here for it. So with that,
I'm Sonia, and I'm in recovery. Change. So I can say that coming into recovery, the only thing I had to change was everything. And that was a big deal. That was a really big deal. Ultimately, I had already changed my mind, but I had to get my heart into it, if that makes any sense at all. So, one thing that I hold on to is the fact that I made the decision to accept Christ into my heart and allow Christ to move within me. And, of course, I have a sickness. I live in the world, and there's a lot of sickness around me. So thoughts creep in all the time. I don't know. I can't even say what do they call them, triggers or whatever. Just recently, actually, I went to church on Sunday, and I gave God the situation. I was like, God, I can't, that's not who I am. That's not what I want to be doing. That's not me, and that's not what you called me to be. So living in that it's pretty powerful, but at the same time, there's that long suffering that God's word talks about, and I feel that more than ever today. I'm at peace. So I guess that's all I really have.
I'm Baptist, I'm in recovery. We have 6 years, 11 months, and some days. We change was very, very scary. It's very, very scary for me, because I was so used to living a certain way, and I was so afraid to change, because I felt that I was going to be losing the best part of me, not knowing that when I did finally make a decision to change, I found the best part of me, with God. And this journey has been bittersweet. It has been up and down, but I persevered through God. One thing I could say that, I needed to change. I was craving for change. But in all actuality, I wasn't man enough to change. And God had to give me that strength to say, okay, you're going to follow me, you're going to take up your cross. For me, I can always say that, okay, I'm a man, but really? Am I really a man? Am I really serving God the way He wants me to serve Him? Is I'm really being an example? And I wasn't, and today, I do the best I can to be an example. It's not about me. It's not about, this or none of the stuff I have, the car I drive, the job I have, none of that. It's all about God. It's all about giving back. I love being in the trenches, because how can I tell somebody about my story if I haven't been there with them? I can't reach my hand out and say, He'll take my hand when I don't know where you've been. I've been there, so yes, I want to be in the trenches. I want to reach my hands out. And the blessings of everything. For the longest time, I was afraid of being in a relationship, because I got hurt so many times. And I would stay away from him. You know, but it's funny how things work. It's funny how God works. So God put this amazing woman in my life. Like, okay, God, you know, are you punking me? And you know, I had to adjust her. I said, okay, God, if this is what you want for me, I'm willing, I'm able, I'm right here. You know, and I'm grateful, and I would change my life for anything. I'm so blessed, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for time in my life, because she makes me better. She makes me something that I've never, ever been, and I'm accountable, I'm trustworthy, I'm dependable, and that's only by the grace of God and this woman I'm with.
Good.
I'm Tanya. I got 3 years.
All right.
Change for me was big. I sat in prison every day and I prayed because I was so scared to come home. I didn't know what was going to happen when I walked out those prison doors because I've been an addict my whole entire life. I either did drugs or sold drugs, so I was scared. But I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and He has blessed me. I don't crave it. I don't think about it. It actually breaks my heart. A lot of people have passed away since I've been home from drugs, and it makes me not want to go back even more. Tomorrow or Saturday, I have to attend my niece's funeral because she just overdosed. So it's been hectic. This will be like the 4th funeral I've attended since I've been home. So change for me was really big, and then obviously meeting him because he keeps me on my toes. Know that. With that, that's all I have to go.
I'm Melissa, I'm in recovery, and I have 5 years, 7 months, 3 days from drugs, 1 year, 11 months, and 6 days from alcohol. Change, like, I literally had to change everything. Like Tanya, like, I spent over the majority of my life getting high, and didn't know how to be sober, didn't know how to go one day without not having anything in my system. But I literally changed everything. I changed my playground, I changed my friends, I even changed the music I listened to. And I know how to put God in the center of it now. Like I used to say, I am new in my recovery and my walk with God. I'm no longer new in my walk with God. Thank you. But yeah, this change is worth it.
My name is Danny Haas. I got 448 days. What changed the most in my life was just giving it to God, trusting, doing one thing that I've never done before in my life, and that's trusting other man with it. Something that I vowed and was taught never to do. Prior to going to prison, I started to change, and that was the one thing that led me down the road I wanted to go, was just giving my life to Christ, putting full faith in Him, and basically surrendering, and that's what got me where I want to be. Just excited to see where it's going to lead. That's what I'm doing.
March 5, 2024 was the last time I think. What I had to do in my life to give everything to God, I prayed a lot after last time I drank because I did not want to do it anymore. I was tired of going to jail back and forth. I had to give everything to God, pray more, listen to religious music. Although I don't just listen to this religious music, one of the songs that helped me when I'm a struggle, a song called "The Struggle" by 10th Avenue North, and also like the song "The Healing Begins." That's another good song. Christian song. I had to give everything to God to get me sober, and stuff like that. The life I have today is amazing. I have a family. I have a biological family. I have a sober family. I have a Bible family. Like my life is so much better today than it was last year. I mean, being sober and getting good grades in college and everything is actually great. And the only thing that I'm changing different about studying is just smoking cigars, having to calm down during finals instead of drinking and smoking. But I just smoke now, and I am happy the way I live today. God has given me a family, not just a beyond family, a sober family, a biblical family. Things nowadays are absolutely great. I'm a lot less depressed than I was that past.
Nicholas. Today I have, for the second time around, 180 days, 6 months. God has been testing me. Change. Thanks for that, Stephanie, because that is exactly what I needed to hear on the topic tonight, and I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. I thank God for change right now. I thank my recovery for change. You know, when I started this journey of recovery in prison a couple of years back, and through, some minor setbacks throughout the road down this journey, I'm one man to testify that I've witnessed so much pain in my life. God put me through all that, and I didn't want to believe it for the longest time. I didn't want to believe it, and I'm so grateful to Him because I found my purpose and my answer today at work, and I've fought so many wars through depression, through anger, through hatred, through death, through relationships, through pride, through ego, and it is so amazing to see what God does here in this room. Every time I come back, it is so amazing. And God has been working on me. I have been becoming a lot because God has been working on me in my life and my recovery. I don't know if you know the song by James Arthur, My Recovery, but he talks about, in my recovery, I'm a soldier at war. I have broken down walls, and that I designed my own recovery. Well, today I designed my recovery through all of that pain. And last Tuesday, my father, at the very end of his life, got to witness, my adopted dad got to witness how I designed my recovery. And he said, his last words, he goes, you know what you're doing because God has put you back on this road in your recovery, and He has designed a plan for you. And I know that plan, and I know He knows that plan, and you will know that plan sooner than you think. And I have fought God to the pits of every ounce of my will and my being, trying to figure out what that was because I didn't understand, and I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to just accept it, and I didn't want to just let go. And today when I was sitting at work at 9:45 this morning, my timer goes off on my desk, and I was like dozing off because I had gotten 3 hours of sleep that night before I was babysitting my niece. And I'm like, oh God, don't fall asleep, don't fall asleep. And boom, that timer goes off, and instantly it just came to me. And when they say God speaks to you, it's a feeling inside that you don't want to let go. And I found out through that answer that through all the pain that I witnessed, my purpose is to love through others' pain and connect with that through my heart. That I don't have to carry that pain for other people myself. And I love you guys. And I love Jesus. And I love God for that. Thank you.
Michael, mental health and recovery, been working on it since 21st June 2023. I gotta change the way the military trained me on how to act. I gotta change that because that's what ended up being in prison, so that's what I've been working on. So far it seems to be working pretty good. And been learning different types of coping mechanisms, so, and that's the route I'm going with this, and that's all I got.
I'm Alexandra, and I have 34 days. And even though I'm freshly to it, there's a lot of change. I've had to kick out my best friend because she just wasn't ready for her recovery, and had to leave the children's dad. Even last week, DOD'd, and I got that phone call, and that was the hardest phone call, and it was so yucky to say that I had to turn around and say, I'm sorry, but you can't call me again. Just because he's not ready. And so now I'm living at my house by myself, but at least, from a year and a half ago, I was living on the street, and today I have a 2-bedroom house, and hopefully soon my kids will be back. So, one more drug test, guys.
I'm Larry, aka Bubbles.
Hey, Bubbles!
About 113 days today. I apologize for not being here for a couple weeks, but I'm here now. Change. I had to change everything. I had to change everything. I had to change the people I hung out with. I had to change my thoughts, my actions, how I treated people, and all that has been done by just putting my faith in God and following Him and leaning on other people that have God in their life too. Today I get to help my relatives out with yard work or watching their dogs. They trust me now to not turn my back on them again and treat them like crap. It's not easy. It really isn't easy because I want to control everything and I can't. I can't control anything. It's really taught me a lot living back at my grandparents' house. My grandma likes to control me, but I don't let her. But life is going better today. I'm feeling more alive. I think I got a couple job opportunities coming up, hopefully. Just ready to be back out in society and prove to myself that I can be a better person out there. That's all I got.
That's good.
Hi, I'm Ben. I've got 2 years, 4 months, and 6 days today. Man, change for me was very drastic. It was God changed my heart a lot. I mean, from the very first, going into jail, the mercy prayers, God, I won't do this anymore. I'm telling my mom on the phone, oh, I'm changing, I won't do this no more, blah, blah. But, nobody believed me until it really happened. And that was all thanks to to God, you know. And there's no other way around that. Like, I wasn't about to do by myself, that's for sure. You know, started coming to Sober Soldierz meetings, even sleeping outside the East Side meetings in a sleeping bag. Because I didn't have nothing better to do. I didn't have a job, I didn't have an ID, I didn't have a social security card, I didn't have nothing better to do besides go to my intense outpatient and go to Sober Soldierz meetings. But I mean, I was gonna say something I was gonna tell you all a little story. You know, I'll tell it because I think there's statute of limitations on things. So listen, I want to tell you this is just how big of a change, okay? I'm not glorifying this whatsoever, okay, at all. Because I was just telling some guys about this the other day. So I was at Walmart one time. Can you imagine that? Out of the parking lot running around, and just got done stealing a bunch of stuff from Walmart. Altoona. And went outside, and I'm like, man, this ain't enough stuff. Like I don't even have no money. So I found a van, a nice van, a real nice one on lock. It had a bunch of bags and stuff in it, and I'm like, man, load up, and I started taking off on the light and took the purse out of there. Get down the road a little ways, and I opened the purse up. All kinds of money was in it, all kinds of it. And I pulled this badge, almost like a work badge out. And it's got this lady's face on it, big old smile on her face and everything. And it's from now I'm not going to say what church, it's from a church. And I felt like, you are the biggest POS in the whole world. I actually went back to my campsite and somebody came down there and was like, dude, you're really a piece of crap for that. You know, I burned everything that night, to be honest with you, even the money. I was just like, dude, you don't deserve any of this stuff. And I was just hard on myself. But the person I am today, that's just a drastic change. I would never even think or imagine to do that, you know. And I realized that if something like that happens to me, if something like that does wind up happening to me, then you know what? I'll be okay with it. You want to know why? Because I should have never done anything like that to anybody. So if it comes back on me, cool. No big deal. I mean, God will give me what I want. He'll take what I don't need, you know. So, yeah, the changes are drastic, y'all. And that's just a little bit of it. But, yeah, this is bad. It used to be bad, but now it's good because I can reach out and help others. I can reach back into the trenches like Baptist was saying. I love reaching back out there. I love doing that. I won't hang out with my old friends if they're still using all that. I'll talk to them, though. I'll go pray with them. I will go meet them where they're at and pray with them. That's fine. But I'm not going to sit there and hang out with them all day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I got. I love y'all.
My name is Tony Recovery. Got 76 months. Change for me is I had changed everything when I first started using. In 2019, I was, I have a certain family member that was always my backfall, where I knew if I ever needed something, no matter what, I quit. But if I ever wanted to go back on it, I knew where it was, and that was I had to cut him off for a whole year because that's how long it took before I felt like I didn't need to go back there because I kept dipping in that well over and over and over again. And another change is at church. I come to church. I love Christian music, so I used to come to church and listen to worship music and tune the whole sermon out. Because I didn't want to hear what you had to say. I just want to listen to music and leave. And I've changed quite a bit. I used to be an a-hole. My neighbors, Bart and Robert, probably attest to that. I was a big a-hole to them. And I've changed a lot over the last few months. I go to church and I want to hear the sermon. You know what I mean? And I think another change is in my daughter. She's 12. Yes, she's drama, but she's 12. That's what kids are. But the thing is she loves Jesus. She loves Christian music. She loves helping out in church. She has a position in church where she helps out CJ and the kids, which she did all on her own. I didn't, ask her to know that. She loves doing that stuff. So I think as you change, your kids see that, and they want better for themselves. She's 12, you know what I mean? And she's a little rebel, but she loves Jesus, you know what I mean? And that really, really makes me feel really good.
I've got 4 years and 6 months. So mine's just like everybody else, like people, places, things, except I have a Toby that I had to get rid of. But he came back. no longer want to be the person that's so judgy. I know that's something I need to work on too. I know those are changes that I need to make within myself. So those are just like goals that I have. Those are changes that I strive to make just so that my kids can also, look up to me. I have an 11-year-old who watched me through addiction. I think she struggled. She's a rebel herself. Trying to take the ghetto out of her. But, we're trying. But I don't know. So I feel like, her watching me make good choices, seeing, just like great accomplishments that, me and Toby are making in our recovery, maybe that will make her strive to make better choices than what I have made. I also think, a great thing for me is I've always stood firm of always talking, in these meetings or just with friends about being stuck on anger about her dad, and since being in recovery, I've let that go. Well, like in the past 6 months, I feel like I've let that go. I don't let that consume me anymore. I've given that to God, and He has taken that, taken a lot of those feelings away. So I feel like that's a great change for me. But that's all I have. Thank you.
I'm Cheyenne. I got 5 years from drugs and 1 month and 26 days from alcohol. Change for me when it comes to drug-wise, I got pregnant with our son Ace, and I already gave up my rights to my 2 older girls, and I was determined to not do it for a 3rd time, and to bring him home from the hospital and to keep him and not let him go. And I obviously did that. And for the alcohol, I realized when I was waking up every morning and I needed a shot of Jim Beam or a double shot of Jim Beam to even get my day going or to even get out of the bed, or when I know I can go make a pot of coffee, I know it'll help me, but I just had more oomph to go and get that alcohol, that shot. It was a problem. It was time to quit. And it wasn't fair to my kids. And my 2 other girls, she's 11 and my girl's 7, and they're getting older. And they already have anger towards me because in their eyes, I abandoned them, but I want to, while I have the chance, to try to fix it and build that relationship before it becomes too late, and to also not ruin my relationship that I have with my 2 younger ones, and be an example to them, because I want them to have everything that I've never had.
That's good.
I'm Jeremy. I have 2 years and 6 days. Change for me has been pretty wild. I didn't think it was possible. If you would have asked me a little over 2 years ago if I would change, I didn't see it happening at all. I was so set in the way that I was that change wasn't even an option, But I look back on it, and the greediness and the selfishness that I had doing and using drugs, it just consumed my whole life, every aspect of it. There was no time for my kids. There was no time for my lady. There was no time for anything but drugs. And I really didn't ever see it like that at the time, because that's all I lived for. It seemed like was just wake up, get high, and run around and get high and do stupid stuff while I get high, hang out with buddies, get high. It's like it's the whole thing. That's all it is. But I'm so glad that I have such a great support, and friends that not only help me get through, the change that I'm in process of, but they support me in other ways too. They keep me busy, keep me active, keep me going, keep me employed. So change has been great. God is good, and I love my family. I love my kids. I can't see myself giving any more of that time up. it's great, man. I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you. Love that guy.
Hi, I'm Melissa and I'm a supporter. Change for me comes in the form of my health. I just found out that I have a moderate form of sleep apnea. So I go on Tuesday to get fitted for a CPAP machine. So please pray that that helps. I'm not looking forward to it, but it helps me all better. But other than that, that's all I got.
Craig, recovery 73 days.
All right.
Change to me, I look at it two ways. I was afraid not to be an addict and change. I was just so used to being a drunk, using it to solve all my problems, which proved my ignorance. I was too proud to ask for help. And I was thinking about it earlier, and I had another one, but regardless, I just kept getting lower and lower, and then everybody says you gotta hit a bottom to change, and I hit my bottom, and I made my way during praise and worship to the altar, and I threw that addiction at Jesus' feet, and I begged him through all the tears. I begged him that I didn't want to be this person anymore. And I wasn't back at my seat after spending 15 minutes of just praying and begging and crying, and I wasn't back at my seat 2 minutes. It's like a warm wind blew across me. And ain't nothing, I realized, looking back, that all those things that kept me from changing, that was exactly where the enemy wanted me to be. That's exactly where Satan wanted me to be. And that was exactly where God did not want me to be. And all I had to do was ask him. And it's been nothing but positive change ever since, and I'm not going to give horse in the mouth. I wake up every day and thank him for being sober yesterday. Humbly thank him for another one. Keep that thought in my head all day long. And, I think Martin Luther King said it best. He said, I'm not the man I want to be, I'm not the man I ought to be, but thank God I'm not the man I used to be. And I owe it all to him, and with that all passed.
I'm James right here, I'm recovering. Thank you for the topic. Thank you for everybody to share so far. That's really moving. I'm going to change and go against my instincts and be honest. I had a recent relapse, and so now I have 4 days of that. You said it best, man. I'm here. I got brain trying to kill me. Things are going great. I can't say anything got bad. I went to an AA retreat. I started a new relationship. I got a great work. I was the house manager at a sober house. I went to see the Grotto Redemption. Everything was going good. And I recently did another 4th and 5th step. Started rewriting my life story. And I don't know, something inside my mind just tells me, oh, you can do it again, or it'll be different. And here's how, and here's why. And I stopped praying. I skipped the Soldierz meeting, I skipped church, and I accidentally on purpose put myself in a situation where, things might have been available. And it's entirely my fault. I can't blame anybody else for it. It was really just a battle that I've been having inside myself. And I really love to change that. I really love to have the time that you guys have. Thank you.
Well, good, man.
I'm Dusty. I'm in recovery. I have 15 days clean today. Woo! been lying to my treatment facility about it, and she's like, well, tomorrow's your day to come clean to her, so gotta come clean, and hopefully I don't have to restart treatment over again, but it would be my fault, you know what I'm saying, because I've been fucking up a lot, so that's all I got with that. I'll pass.
Glad you're here.
My name is Marquise, and I'm in recovery. I have 1 year and 6 months off alcohol and 3 years off of methamphetamine. Love the topic. Love the topic. So change for me is like sacrifice is the biggest change, and change is the biggest sacrifice. I'll probably live for that like almost my entire life. Now I'm not saying you gotta sacrifice yourself to Jesus Christ, but you do have to sacrifice who you used to be, and then go follow God. Go get into the Word. Whatever it is, you got to know that change doesn't happen. It doesn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? You've lived a life that you wanted to your entire life, and you dug deep into it. I know I was lost. I was scared. I was scared to even make the move to go do something different. I was scared to like get congratulated on days that I had sober, or like even days that I was doing good. Like, I didn't want to show my face anywhere because like I hid myself for so long, you know. And like to meet somebody and be like, yeah, I've got like 10 days sober. It just felt like a big letdown because you know how many times I've met them and said, oh, I got this sober, I got this sober day, I got this sober day. But the biggest thing is when I changed my mindset on going to people and telling them, hey, look, I'm sober. It gave me just the audacity to be like, you know what I mean, to claim it. You know what I mean? Like that's me. I got sober, but I only got sober because yes, I'm always gonna have goals. I'm always gonna have dreams. I'm always gonna have ambitions. That's gonna stay with us. Like we have things we want to do that in this life, but until you change the direction that you look to for those things and let God give you those things, then the change happens. I mean, you can change yourself from addiction, but when you're sober, like I've gotten so many things when I was sober, like I've gotten to be like, you know what I mean, the GM of this place and that place and this place. And I felt good, but I still felt lost. I still felt like it wasn't enough. I still felt like there was more. Like I could have did something else. And change happened when I was like, you know what, God? You know what? Screw what I'm doing. Screw what I want. Screw the desires of my heart. And it was hard for me. Don't get me wrong. It was hard. Like I was loyal to a fault to the things that I wanted. The road that I wanted to go down to, every little bit. Anybody that knows me, like 3 years ago when I got in here, I wanted to be a franchise owner. Anybody that knows me, that's what I wanted. I wanted to run millions of McDonald's. And then it changed to Popeyes, and then it changed to this. You know what I mean? I can run wherever I want to run. That was easy for me. Like I could shake the hand of an owner anywhere because like I had those ambitions, I had those dreams. But when I got into God's word, God now just recently gave me an opportunity, and I'm now the leader of a Soldierz home. You know what I mean? So I get to congratulate myself on that, and I found myself, and I'm happy for it. And I'm not boasting. I'm not, you know what I mean? This is not nothing, you know what I mean? I don't need no applause or anything, but I found the change that I was looking for. I found the change that God wants to do with my life. It's not me wanting anything. I truly didn't want that. I was going to go ahead and go run Hy-Vee stores. That's what I wanted. God was like, hey, why don't you run this Soldierz home? And that was the opportunity that literally changed my whole entire aspect of where my life was going to go. That's all I got.
I only got 8 months and 21 days. Change is very uncomfortable, but it gets easier, and it's worth it. I used to not want to get up for work, now I'm, consistently go to work every day. You just gotta force yourself sometimes to do things you don't want to do.
There you go. No, I had to pretty much flip everything upside down in my life. I did the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. I would get 2 months, 3 months, 1 month, you know. It was, it got to the point where like my addiction was just, I'm sure like with everybody, it was just exhausting. It was so exhausting, the constant letdown, the constant, you know. So my last relapse, I had 90 days, and I was at Thanksgiving, and I told my grandma, I never talked to my grandma about this stuff, but I told her, I was like, Grandma, I got 90 days today, I just want to let you know, and then the next day I was an Iowa City game, and I got so drunk I pissed myself in the stadium. Yep, let's go Hawks. It's just little stuff like that. So now I was very afraid to recover out loud, but I've never felt like I currently feel within my recovery. I've never had this kind of peace like today. Like I was like, man, it takes a lot of. I was writing about it. I just went and rode a bike ride, and I brought my journal with me, and I was just sitting down journaling today, and I was like thinking, man, the amount of pain and like my thought was like the price of admission, right? Like so how much it takes to get to where you are, right? And for me, and probably a lot of you, I mean, think of all the pain and the toil, and I mean, the hell that we went through to be able to feel the kind of peace that we feel now. And if you're new to recovery, just know that it's coming. Change is what it takes to be able to have the peace that we have today. If we don't have change, you're not going to do it. I mean, you're just not. If you go back to the same places, you go back to the same friends, you go back to the same houses, you go back to the same life, you're going to end up with the same results. Is what it is. It's the definition of insanity, right? Which we all were at one point. So we had to flip our lives upside down to be able to have change, to be able to have peace. So it's all goes hand in hand. And, I was just thinking today, like, all of that pain is worth it, for me, because I get to sit here and talk about all of this, especially with people with 12, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and they get to see somebody that, 6 months ago was about 40 pounds less and had a needle hanging out of his arm, you know what I mean? So, I wanted to die. So, now I couldn't tell you the last time I didn't want to wake up and enjoy the day, so. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just requires change. So good topic. Thank you.
Got one left and then Cody's gonna pick up.
My mama couldn't make it because she had to go to the farmer's market 3 times.
I'm Jill, and I'm a supporter.
Nicholas, I have 18 months in recovery. I was thinking about voluntary change and involuntary change, like things that I change on my own and then things that just change on their own. For the things that just change on their own, it's like, how do I respond to little situations? And like change that I'm making currently in my life is like, I've grown comfortable where I'm at, like with my employment, things like that, there's so many things tied to it, but I've just been, don't ever let people undervalue you or make you feel a certain way, you know what I'm saying? All the hard work I put in, I decided today to start looking for a different employment because I feel like I'm in a position where people put a cap on my potential and try to hold me to somewhere where I'm not meant to be, you know what I'm saying? So I got an interview next Wednesday, and it's a roofing company, but it's just one of them that I put in, but it's a sales position.
yeah, just don't fight the change, especially the change that the Lord's trying to put in your life. I fought God's change, and it almost put me in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot wrestle Jesus. So.
Hi everybody, I'm Cody. We're going to attempt to close this meeting real quick. I'm going to speak a little bit about change. Change is very difficult, but it's something worthwhile. A lot of you guys understand that. Just listening as the mic went around the room tonight, my perspective changed on like certain things I didn't quite understand. Like I kind of mentioned to Lindsay, like, why do we applaud when people relapse? She's like, well, she kind of told me about like how courageous and how brave they are to share that honesty and to show back up and you know, to recover out loud in such a brutally honest way. It made me kind of think of, I was almost blessed to be behind the scenes when a lot of my relapses occurred. And, hopefully the Lord keeps me on the straight and narrow in that sense. Another thing that changes is the faces in this room from time to time. So we like to go around and kind of like give people a chance to introduce themselves. I believe I see some new faces over here. One over here. Let me go ahead and we'll work our way that way. So yeah, if you want to just kind of.
Hi guys, my name is Malloy, and I'm a big supporter, and I'm so proud of you guys and just listening to you guys share.
Welcome.
I'm AJ, and I'm just here listening.
I'm Jesse Campbell, and I'm here to be in recovery. Grateful to be here.